Hello.
Afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good, you.
Good. Oh, there it is. All right.
We're good. Hey everyone, what's going on? So today we are going to be talking on the liver. Now the liver is part of the digestive system, the digestive tract, but there is a lot to talk about the liver. The liver has like almost in every aspect for whatever symptom you have, the liver is probably implicated no matter what.
No matter what.
The reason why is because that is the biggest organ, and it is, not the biggest organ, but the most important organ that is needed for detox and to assimilate toxicity, filter out all the bile bile going into the gallbladder, but 75% of toxins pretty much pass through your liver, so that's why it is one of the major components in the digestive system, because no matter what you eat, if it's toxic, it's going through the liver, and if there's too much of a stress, well, your liver is going to be stressed.
And I want to really focus on the word toxin, because at the end of the day, that is what causes poison within your body. So if your liver ain't working, those poisons are going through, later on causing you to get sick. So the importance of your liver is pretty massive. And if you really want to think about it, it's really interesting how at 18 you get to drink here in Quebec. It's like they really want you to get sick and start really beating on your liver.
Yeah, that quick. And we know that liver has a lot to do with detoxing, but detoxing empty calories like alcohol, well, you're making your liver work for nothing. And this is why the more we torch our liver with alcohol, the more we get the psoriasis of the liver, liver conditions in general, fatty liver, whatever kind of liver disease you want to name. That's the reason why with alcohol. And a lot of people, I have a fatty liver, but I don't drink. Yeah, well, stress does that. And if your liver is not detoxing properly, then it's only normal. It's going to be a fatty liver.
Interesting. Are you saying that stress causes your liver not to function as well?
Pretty much. So stress is the main component, but we could even touch on emotions, anger. The more that we are resentful, the more that we are anxious, the more that, anxious can lead to stress, right? So it kind of works in the same manner. The more that we are, resentful, the more that we are angry, irritable, that has a big aspect on your liver, and when that happens, when it inflames the liver and can also inflame or tighten the fascias and tissues and muscles around the organ itself.
Wow.
So there's a lot to
digest
and think of. Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah. So here's a fun fact: your liver can actually, once split in half, can actually regenerate itself if given the right nutrients. So that's something to think of. And that goes with any other organ.
Within your body?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
There's actually been studies on that, and there was, given the right nutrients, now, I didn't read how long it took, but it's doable for your body. Meditation can help with that as well, because you're visualizing your liver rebalancing and repairing itself, so that is a big aspect. But yes, any organ should be able to regenerate itself given the proper nutrients.
But you're saying that liver in itself, let's say a surgeon has to go in there, cut a piece off, the chances of them leaving it there on its own is because it's going to regenerate.
You could think of it that way. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, that's
Perspective.
Technically, yes, that should happen.
Intriguing.
It should happen. Now, I'm always saying should because everybody's different. It should happen.
Again, this is all opinions, people.
Yeah. But factual. Let's go. Since I'm drinking coffee, I'm gonna just, we're talking about stress and coffee.
Does coffee affect the
100%.
Is it considered a toxic? Like, because coffee is obviously something part of everyone's day, and I could imagine that as a toxin, it can cause problems for the most important organ that detoxes.
Yeah. So basically, obviously you want to have a organic coffee, right? Organo Gold, black coffee. Honestly, the reason why I keep advertising it because I can't go back to a regular coffee, and the reason for that is because the whole point of the reishi in the coffee helps with neutralizing the acidity levels. Now, if coffee is a stimulant, you're stimulating your liver, you're stimulating your digestive enzymes, your detox system to digest the coffee. Coffee is very beneficial, it's very good for you, provided you're having it black, or maybe some almond milk, coconut oil for sure. But the polyphenols, the antioxidants in a coffee is very beneficial. There have been studies there that say having a coffee a day can actually help you to live longer. But if you're stressed out of your mind, if you're drinking 10 espressos a day, then I'm gonna say cut your coffee because it's putting a lot of taxation on the liver. So basically what happens is in the liver, when you absorb the coffee to stimulate your body blocks one of the receptors, which is called, or a neurotransmitter, it's more of a receptor, which is called adenosine. And the adenosine is what calms the body. The whole point of the coffee is to block the adenosine to calm the body so that the caffeine can kick in and stimulate the body
properly.
Provided that you're not too over the head, over the top, over the moon stressed, right? Now, when we're too stressed, we overstimulate the liver to work, we overstimulate the detox process to work, and what happens is we become more stressed, we become more agitated, we become more nervous.
And the liver at the end of the day doesn't do its job properly.
Exactly. And that's why we say, yeah, but I drink coffee and I feel like my insides are shaking. You know, I get that sometimes I feel irritable. I feel like I can't calm down. Well, that's the reason why. You can't calm down because you're overstimulated.
With coffee, that is not good for you.
Yeah.
But organic is.
Organic Organo Gold.
There you go.
So basically, the whole basis of a liver, again, yes, it is supposed to be one of the major organs to detox. There's different phases for detoxification. You got detoxification 1, the first phase, you got methylation, and then you have detox phase 2. So the first phase is where you're digesting your, we'll say, solids, breaking them down into smaller pieces. So it passes through the methylation system. What the methylation is basically the barrier between the first and second phase, but that helps break down the nutrients even more so that it becomes almost soluble in the phase 2.
Okay, so for example, if you want to have a visual, think of an apple, and the first phase would take care of the outer layer, and then the second one would break down the waterish side so that it really shrinks in,
and then
the leftover,
the second
that's
is
your poop,
really,
people.
not just that, but yeah. The second phase is really you're coming out as it's liquid, so that it's liquid can go into the kidneys and the kidneys can filter out. Right. So kidneys would be phase 3.
Okay.
So
phase 2 is taking in those raw necessary nutrients, and then the third phase is the liver sending it to where it needs to go.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Second phase.
Okay.
Second, so you have first methylation, second, and I understand that you said second phase was your third phase, but you got to think of methylation as the second phase, technically. Methylation. Okay, and a lot of people don't have a proper methylation, and you'll see this when you go to the bathroom after having asparagus, and your pee smells like rubber.
Oh.
Right. So most people don't have a proper gene of methylating properly. And that's another reason why there's a lot of stress in the liver. So that methylation barrier is not optimal because of the gene that you're missing. And that gene is part of it's called MTHFR.
Oh.
So what can help with that is B12. B12 can help with that. Or you take supplements, which is called 5-MTHFR.
What's B12 though?
Vitamin B12.
Okay.
So vitamin B12 is good for the methylation, it's good for the nervous system, there's a whole bunch of other benefits for B12.
Where do you get that in nutrients wise?
Meats, fish, proteins.
Okay.
Very hard to get it out of plants, but you could get it out of plants, but it's very minimal.
Intriguing.
Mainly from your meats though.
See, meats are important.
Yep.
Bill Gates. Go on.
So the other thing that's fun about or understanding the liver, it only starts to develop when you're at 3 years old. So
Oh wow.
if you're taking in, I don't want to use the word, but the vaccines as a child, there's a lot of toxicity in them, as we know. Kids are getting sicker and sicker these days because of their immune system isn't optimal. Now, is it the vaccine? Is it not? Doesn't matter. I'm not saying it, but there is toxicity before the age of 3 years old. And the reason why the body can't get rid of the toxicity and they're getting sick faster is because the liver isn't optimal and it's not ready to get rid of any heavy metals.
Well, I think it's important to mention the reality that while you're growing, you know what? I'll just make it simpler. Weed. They say that if you want to enjoy weed, do it after 25. And the reason for that is because the brain is fully developed in the way that it's physically there, and weed won't affect it as much. Because as the brain is growing, weed will crumple it. But if you're 25 and it's been grown, now you take it, you're better off. I could imagine that's the same thing for the liver, and the idea that the more toxins you send in while it's growing can have some issues.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get older, if your liver hasn't grown properly, same thing like the brain, you're gonna have difficulties.
Mm-hmm. Do you understand why the weed affects the brain though?
Tell me.
Because the
THC?
THC, I was about to say THS. The THC actually messes with the liver, and then it sends toxins to the brain. So the THC is what messes you up. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Okay, so that's
There you
why
go.
weed. I'm not gonna bash weed.
We're not bashing
No,
anything.
but what I'm saying is,
I think it's important to always discuss the consequences
Yeah.
of any action. If I decide to go for a run every single day and I don't wear my shoes properly, well, I'm obviously breaking my foot, right? Let's be fully honest
Not
here.
really.
Well, I mean, like, oh yeah, you're right.
We're supposed
Fine.
to be barefoot. We're supposed to be bare feet.
If you're wearing the wrong shoes, you will break your feet.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Great. Point is, but the more you do something and the more damage you cause something, obviously there's going to be a reaction.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Every action has a reaction. That's why the goal is through wisdom to do actions that cause less reactions that are negative for you. You want to do actions that cause more positive actions for you. I mean, positive reactions for you. Like kindness. If you're kind to others, they're going to be kind to you. Some people might take advantage, but at least you know they don't deserve your kindness, and you move on. And when you find those people who can give you that kindness,
But going back to the weeds, the
Liver.
THC, yeah, so it's the THC that messes up with the liver, and I'm a big proponent on the CBD. The CBD is actually what helps with everything in the body because your body actually creates CBD, which is cannabinoids. Cannabinoids. So other important functions of the liver is vast, it's big, it has a whole bunch of functions. We're going to try and just go through a few of them. So it metabolizes and detoxes in the whole body or whatever passes through the liver. It converts your nutrients, so it converts basically your fats, carbs, and proteins. We spoke about bile last week and the gallbladder. So what the liver does, it actually dries up the bile so that it can send to the gallbladder so the gallbladder can digest it properly and send it to the rest of the small intestine and the rest of the intestines. Then you have, so again, we said that it reduces your toxicity and makes it become less and less so that the body can flush it out easier. It also, a healthy liver can also help with blood clots. So a lot of people that get blood clots, it means that you have to start cleaning your liver. Because if you're having blood thinners and whatnot, you're not fixing the problem, you're only masking the issue, you're not cleaning your liver. Which, by the way, taking medications actually, and these are plenty of studies that say it, actually has an effect on your liver. It actually toxifies your body even more. So keep that in mind. And the liver actually plays a big role in regulating your glucose, has a big role in regulating or pairing up with the pancreas when it comes to glucose and insulin. Insulin is pretty much built or fabricated in the liver, and the reason for that is because every 4 hours, your body is creating different hormones. So we can even say that your periods, for the women out there, your menstruations, is regulated from your liver. So if your liver is off, your menstruation is off. If you're more stressed, your liver is stressed, your menstruation is off. So keep that in mind. Why again is because in the liver is where most of the hormones, if not all the hormones, especially IGF, insulin growth factor, which by the way, during the hours of 1 and 3 is when your liver detoxes and does its most of the job. So between the hours of 3, if you're waking up during the night, 3 a.m., 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., if you're waking up during the night, that means your liver energy is not optimal. You're either too stressed or you're not detoxing like you should be. Again, I was talking about IGF. So insulin growth hormone factor is most abundant during the night. And that is what helps you repair your tissues, repairs your muscles. And this is why we say get a good night's rest, because your hormones and your basically your system regenerates during the night. So it's not killing yourself in the gym that you're going to grow your muscles. It's when you sleep you're going to grow your muscles.
And if you're not sleeping properly, it's because your liver is not working properly.
Yep, 100%.
From 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's when you wake up. Yeah. So every 2 hours is when there's a specific organ that they're at their optimal peak.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to read a book, learn something new for the brain, between the hours of 10 and 12.
10 and 12.
10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Wow.
What else can we say? If your liver is off, then you're gonna have neurological problems as well. So that's where the weed comes in, is you're messing up the liver while it still sends out toxins into the bloodstream and throughout the rest of the body, and then it messes up with the liver as well, the brain as well.
If you eat liver, for example, from an animal, does that help with the B12?
So any organ is very beneficial for its specific organ in the body as well.
Okay.
The liver will help with the liver. Why? Because they have the similar nutrients and similar nutrient components to help with it.
And chicken brains helps the brain. I never tried it,
I was
but
gonna
believe
say,
me,
if you
my
eat
grandparents always show me, and I'm like, I ain't eating that.
Well, there's a reason why we have we eat stomach and stuff too, huh?
True. Very true.
La tripa and all that stuff.
Very true. Very true.
What else? Well, we can see nutrients. Yeah, we could speak about the nutrients just to finalize. So I always like to go with, I was about to say Chardon Marie, but Chardon Marie is in French. Milk thistle, dandelion, you can have that as a root, as a tincture, as a supplement. You could have artichoke, cordyceps, so a lot of artichokes is very good. Sorry. You could also have pomegranate, chicory root as well. And you want to have the flower or la fleur, la feuille. I'm always saying the French terms.
It's okay.
Feuille, the Chardon Marie, or the grain, so they're either the grains or the leaf of the milk thistle. Every part of the plant is very specific. You want to have the root of the dandelion. You want to have the leaf of the artichoke. Pomegranate, you could have just even the fruit as well. That'll help with the liver. And if we look at supplements, like we said, we got B12, we have taurine. Each part of the liver phase needs its specific nutrients. So phase 1, NAC, B vitamins, folic acid, glutathione. And then for phase 2, you need even more. You need amino acids, you need magnesium, you need vitamin C, choline, which choline is actually very beneficial for the brain as well, glutamine, and glycine as well. So things like that, look at supplements that have those for the liver. If you need help, refer to your professional, find a naturopath, find a doctor, whoever you need to look at, someone that actually understands what to do with the liver.
And now that you know, that's why you watch us.
Exactly.
Go learn some more.
We care.
Have a great week.